morning, everybody. Aloha. Aloha, spreading the love of the island, spreading the energy of not only love, but of acceptance, of gratitude, of forgiveness. And especially today in this world that's so fractured, we so need to spread our aloha spirit, our spirit of love and gratitude. So let's begin with the Gospel of St. John. This is one of my favorites. I think primarily because I see Jesus in such a human light in this reading. Jesus, groaning up in the depths of himself, came to the tomb of his beloved Lazarus. A large stone lay against the opening. Jesus stood before the tomb and ordered, "Take away this stone." But Martha, one of Lazarus' sisters, protested, "Lord, there must be a stench. Our brother has been dead for 4 days." And Jesus lifted his eyes to the heavens and prayed, "Abba, I thank you, for you always hear my prayers." The dead man came out with his hands and feet wrapped with cloth, while his face too was also covered. And Jesus, seeing his brother, looked to Martha, Mary, and the rest of the friends and family gathered, and ordered them, "Unbind him, let him go." And so, my brothers and sisters, today we're gathered at the tombs of our own hearts. We gathered to remove any stones or boulders that have held us captive. May we take leave of our heart caves together, one with the other as brother and sister. Today we're going to call forth any injuries that have begun to eat away at the sacredness of who we are, of who we're meant to be. Together, we'll assist each other in this act of unbinding so that we might emerge from our tombs that might be made of pain, of addiction, hurt, angst, disappointment, wrongs, betrayals, or unforgiveness. It is a day to step out, to breathe deeply, to take in new breaths, and to release breaths of profound gratitude, love, and forgiveness. So may our time together truly be a time of communal unbinding and profound rejoicing. May we open our hearts, our community, our world, all of creation to this aloha spirit, this energy, this love, this gratitude. And so as we begin, I have a song that, in my estimation, is a beautiful, powerful combination of two mantras of forgiveness. The first one is what I will refer to as the abbreviated form of the Hoponopono. Hoponopono basically means to make things doubly right, right with ourselves and right with creation. The second part of this song is the Ganesha mantra of forgiveness, and it goes, Om Shama Batra Namaha. I bow to the Lord Ganesha, who is the chief of forgiveness, who is the Lord of removing obstacles. So as our beloved host Karen plays our song, and she also got the video, yay Karen, I invite us, before she turns her technology on, to take a few deep cleansing breaths, and then close your eyes and allow the song to literally wash over you, over your heart, and stir you into a time of opening, cleansing, and ongoing healing. So let us take our breaths as Karen prepares to share the song with us.
Please forgive me, I am sorry. I love you. Thank you. Please forgive me, I am sorry. I love you. Thank you. Om Kshama Bhatra Namaha. Om Kshama Patre 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 Namaha. Please forgive me, I am sorry. I love you. Thank you. Please forgive me, I am sorry. I love you. Thank you. Om Kshama Patre Namaha. 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 Om Kshama Patre Namaha.
Thank you, Karen. Oh, it just moves me. I'm sorry. Since many of us that are gathered today have gone through the Tree of Life Seminary or are still going through the Tree of Life Seminary, one of our favorite and most beloved authors taught us the true beauty of the Lord's Prayer by taking us back into the original tongue of Jesus, into the Aramaic. So where else does one begin? I'd like to remind everyone of the beauty of this prayer, and especially of these words that our beloved Stephanie shared with us, challenged us with, continues to challenge us with, and will forever be in our minds, challenging us forever and ever. Wash Baklan, Haubain, Waktahain, Ikana Duf Kanan, Shwakana, Hai Yabain. It is said to forgive is to be set free. To hold on to angst with another is to drink the poison we have made, so we think, for the other. As Jack Kornfield tells us in Path with a Heart, as one ex-prisoner of war said when visiting a fellow survivor, "Have you forgiven those who've imprisoned us yet?" And the survivor said, "No, I haven't, never." And the first veteran said, "Then somehow they still have you in prison." The word ikana reminds us releasing must be done consistently and regularly if these knotted relationships of ours are to become whole and stable, which also means if we're to become whole and stable, if the earth, all of creation, becomes whole and stable. In Mutant Message from Forever, a novel of Aboriginal wisdom, our Stephanie reminds us the ancient ones speak of the necessity for finishing, for bringing closure to our unfinished business with one another. And until we do, we are energetically tied. And need I remind you, that is not a good energy. That is very negative and will bind us forever. In the ancient Hawaiian healing tradition called the Hoponopono, the ancients suggest that when we have experienced hurt with one another, we need to approach them in humility and say, "I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. May we both be free. And Hoponopono, may we be doubly free. I within myself, you within yourself, and all of creation." They stress not to try figuring it out, but rather to feel and express the intention to be healed, so that we might forgive ourselves and others and release those ties. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you so much for that beautiful prayer and that call to consistent forgiveness. I want to share somewhat of a painful story that really brought me to my knees and drew me to Hoponopono. About 11 years ago, this past May, my mother died from MRSA that she got after her open heart surgery. Those were the worst days of my life, not only because I was losing my precious mother, who I had spent years of healing relationships with, but because the stepfather that I love and idolized, who I knew loved and idolized my mom, suddenly turned very angry and bitter before her death. He in turn turned on me, kicked me out of the house. I spent 7 days wandering around, going from house to house of friends. Finally, Penny was able to come down and join me. And in that whole process, Dick made it very difficult for me to get into the hospital to see my mom in her last days. At her death, I was sadly not there. Penny and I were tired that morning. We left at 4:20 in the morning, and Mom passed away at 4:42. She always told me, "Deb, you're not going to be there when I die. I'll die alone." And so she made sure that she did indeed die alone. The hardest part wasn't necessarily Mom's death, though that ripped me in two. The hardest part was having my stepfather, who I loved, suddenly closing off all doors to me. I never figured out why. I tried to have conversations with him. I always thought that if I had a conversation with him and that if I understood why, it would be so much easier to forgive him. But he wasn't going to open not even the slightest little window. And so for 11 years, trying to put aside the why, what did I do, what did he do, who was the cause, etc., this lump, this big, huge stone has been rolled in front of my heart. And you know, as Jesus told us, as Martha actually tells us, he's been dead 4 days. Imagine the stench. Well, I hate to admit this, but for 11 years, can you imagine the stench this one wound has had in my life? There's been a part of me, I guess, that has been closed off. And I had used the Hoponopono as a way of of trying to just cleanse that wound, to just open it up, ask the Divine One to pour his or her light over it, to somehow renew the energies that have been broken with me and my family, with me and his family, with even the people I come in contact with now in ministry, because I was profoundly changed and not for the better. And I believe that on days that I have not been able to pray Hoponopono, because sometimes there are days still, even after 11 years, that the wound still feels pretty raw. I believe Hoponopono as any chant, any internal breath energy. It prays within me. It continues that healing, that unbinding, that loosening of a stranglehold, that one offense. And folks, I'm going to be 66 soon, and I can tell you, there are a lot more wounds than just that one with Dick. And so Hoponopono will be a process I will use all my life. And I hope when the day comes, I step out of that cave into the true light and can really, truly see and love. And so the Hoponopono has brought me to a point of trying to accept, trying to forgive, saying I'm sorry and not knowing who to blame, and that's okay. Saying I love you and thank you. Thank you for making me a bigger person. Thank you for showing me areas of myself that need healing, that need light, that need to come forth. Not only is our inner cave stinky and sour, John O'Donohue tells us, no wound is ever silent, and no one is ever free of its deafening sounds. Each of us carries in our hearts the wombs of mortality, and we are particularly adept at covering our inner wounds, of rolling large, huge boulders over them, so to speak. That the boulder may keep us in the darkness, but it can't muffle the sounds of our wounds. Your wounds, my wounds, the world's wounds, will continue to call out for healing. These cuts at the core of our identity cannot be healed by a world of medicine or by anything external, John tells us. It's only by letting in divine light to bathe these wounds where healing will indeed come. The tender kindness of the divine knows where the roots of our pain are concealed. The divine light knows how to heal a weeping soul. Every wound has its own particular voice, and it calls from a time when we were first damaged or wronged. It holds the memory of that breakage just as pristine as the moment of the actual occurrence. These wounds lose little of their acid or poison. John goes on to tell us only the voice of deep prayer can carry the gentle poultice inward to these severe crevices and draw out the toxins of hurt. That's a pretty heavy, ugly word, toxins of the heart. Learning what went on at the time of wounding, yes, it can help us. It can help us not make the same mistakes. But as I've learned time and time again, sometimes you'll never know the consequences of one action. You'll never know the true causes of your wounding or of your cut. But prayer over, consistently, so that we no longer become the wound, so that the wound no longer dictates our world or the world at large. Hoponopono, prayer, so that our divine purpose can set out and be about its resurrection, our own personal resurrection. Today, I've kind of focused us on Morna Simeona's altered version of the Hoponopono. But the actual Hoponopono started, some believe, way back in 425 AD. That's way even older than me. It was done on the Pacific Islands because, as we know, they're water-bound, big, large water, to quote someone recently. If you're not able to heal wounds between one another, the entire community will feel that woundedness, will hear its song, its screams. And so the early Hoponopono was a drawing together of the two individuals that caused the harm, the wound. They got together head to head, nose to nose, and breathed in one another's essence, breathed in one another's love, that first love that sparked their beginning, that first breath that breathed all of us. They remembered who they were and whose they were. Well, then comes about 1429 when the Christian missionaries came and decided that they would teach the Lord's Prayer and other means of forgiveness and try to take the Hawaiian way of forgiveness, the Hawaiian way of making doubly right, away from the people. But we know what's in our hearts truly can't be taken away. And so Morna Simeona, who was a recognized kahuna or healer, she's often wrongly we're told that she was the one that actually created this. No, she only modified it for us. And what she did is she took her Christian, her Catholic and Protestant backgrounds, and she blended them with her philosophical studies from India and China, bringing together the karma, the rites of forgiveness, the making of peace that we hear in the liturgies, in the Christian liturgies. And she brought it into what many say is a 14-step process. And no, I'm not going to teach you that right now because I'm still learning it. But she brought it into a mantra that could be said and done over and over again, because we're not on that island anymore. We're all over creation. And so instead of breathing in with one another who has hurt us, we breathe in and day out, that first love, that first breath. Part of her story is when she began to grow older, one of her students, Dr. Hugh Lin, took this process and began using it in his own practice. And we hear the famous story of him going into an insane asylum, never once meeting one-on-one with any of the clients, the patients, or with any of the staff. Instead, he would every day open up his files, fall upon a name, an individual, and just begin to pray this mantra day in, day out over each and every one of the patients. His healing recognized, I am in you and you are in me. And when I work on me, I am also working on the collective me, the collective I. We are all so interconnected by race, culture, creed, orientation, plant, animal, vegetation, galaxy. And that's why the Hoponopono prayer is an actual process of making doubly right, both within and without, not only between people, but between all things, healing the crying wounds of the individual, of the universe, of all. It is a practice, Hoponopono. It is a prayer. It's a way of life. So what I'd like to invite you to do is, you don't really need to have these 4 words or sayings memorized. I found out that the more I prayed this, the more I actually added on to the prayer itself. So I went from, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, I thank you. And I found myself going off onto other tangents. I bless you, I need you, I walk with you, I feel you. So today I'm just going to invite you to stick with the 4 phrases. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you. I thank you. And so those of you, most of you, including Pam, have your candles. And mine is appropriately a mango coconut to go with the island. And so as I light my candle with my fire starter, which may or may not work, this next process that we will share together is the process of the Hoponopono. And I want you to choose, as you light your candle, one individual, one occurrence, one wound that we will collectively gather with today and call out from the tomb. So with that, I'd like you to take 3 deep breaths as Karen gets ready. Breathing in this wonderful world, breathing in this love that birthed us all. Breathing in our humanness as well as our divinity. Breathing in the openness we bring to this time of prayer and gathering.
I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. And thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. And thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you, I love you. I'm sorry. forgive me. And thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. I love
Take a couple deep breaths. These are breaths of resurrection, transformation. Before I open it up for sharing, when I pray or even when I'm in dream group with other dreamers, sometimes the best way the Lord can hit me is with a picture. So as I was praying this with you this morning, I got a beautiful picture of Creator Mother, Earth Mother, rocking me in a baby crib back and forth and singing this to me over and over again. And she was singing it to me in Hawaiian and in English. And it just felt so calming. I all of a sudden started breathing it within myself. And so I ask Creator Mother, Birth Mother, to continue to pray this in all of us, whether we're conscious of it or not, that the divine energy that flows through us from Creator to all that is, may this Hoponopono, this aloha spirit, this love, gratitude, may this always just rock us into healing and wholeness. And so I'm not going to extinguish my candle because Dick and I and all my other wounds are an ongoing process. But if you're on a battery or if you're afraid you're going to burn up your place, then feel free to extinguish it because the light is still in your heart. And Karen, I don't know how you want to do this, but I would love to have input from people as to their experience of this prayer opportunity together.
Hello, my blessed Debora-Ellen. I was so moved by your words and by the song. And I just want to share with you that I have a untying the knots bracelet from Mother Mary, which I received from the sisters at the House of Prayer. And I wear it all the time along with my Buddha bracelet for forgiveness and holding. And I have experienced this prayer in ways that have just left me again, knowing that I am both. I have been perpetrator, I have been victim. I am both in each situation. I am knotted, I am tied. And it's brought me to a place of full forgiveness of myself again and again and again. Ongoing, never ending. So thank you for bringing this prayer to our service. Thank you for bringing your heart and your words because they've touched me deeply. So thank you. I love you.
You too.
Oh, thank you so much. I've known of the Hoponopono prayer for many years from Unity, but the way you described it and the history, as well as this experience of both song versions, really touched me, and the vision of my mom with me. It was so beautiful as I was singing that last song, and really feeling a deep sense of peace now. And I really thank you for that, and just so beautiful. And thank you for honoring us with your blessing this morning.
Thank you, Deb-Ellen. That was no words for that, but it was really deep and powerful. And I had a picture during that second mantra of the stone rolling away. And I was reminded again that the wounds that I carry and that we all carry can be lived with and lived through when we go to them and don't resist and just allow that beautiful light and prayer and love to fill us and to fill the people that we're having the wound with. That then it's manageable in some deep, deep way. And I'm very grateful to you for preparing this and offering this today. Thank you.
I experienced kind of a great leveling process where I was totally free without ego, and I could kind of see all of humanity who I've offended in the past, and just kind of come together. I felt my forgiveness and I felt their forgiveness. It was very nice.
Beautiful. Thank you, John.
Good morning.
Sister.
And thank you. I grew up Catholic, and a whole big part of me still is. And one of the things that happened that kind of just opened up for me was the stance in this prayer. And I suppose the combination of the music, the love of many Pacific Islanders that I share with. There is always this aloha, always beautiful, warm, lay giving, constant putting this over around the other. But as a Catholic, I learned to pray and to kind of huddle within myself, and then the stance was always in church, kneeling and just please, mea culpa, hitting of of one's breast almost physically, begging for that forgiveness, or in action showing sincerity or something. But I realized in this 8 minutes, I needed more than 8 minutes. That it all works so much more easily with an open stance. And for me, even physically being open to that forgiveness, whichever direction it's coming or going. And I went through a series of different people in my life. And I worked on this, and I worked on that, and I worked on this. And I say that 8 minutes wasn't enough, because I had this, oh my God, flash where two people came in front of me, and it was like, oh no, I haven't prayed with these people for them and for my relationship with them. And thank you, Deb. And I've got the song here, and in my heart now, I will continue that work with many tools. Thank you. Bless you.
As I look at the top of my screen, I've been able to see each and every one of you, and I love this Zoom because I'm getting to know my community now. But I want to remind you that you are the Marthas and Marys to one another, especially those of you who live closer. So always feel free that you are sister, you are brother to one another. And that if you need someone to put their head against yours, to put their nose up against yours, and to breathe in the spirit of someone that you can no longer approach, please always feel free to do that. And then also, let's remind each other, those stones get rolled back far too easily. And we can't let that happen. We don't want to go back in those tombs. They're stinky, old, acidy, strong words, dark. We are women and men of the light. We're going to end with our favorite prayer. But before I do that, I'd just like to offer a blessing. And this too is from one of my favorites. This is from John O'Donohue. May you listen to your longing to be free. May the frames of your belonging be large enough for the dreams of your soul. May you arise each day with a voice of blessing, whispering in your heart that something good is about to happen. May you find a harmony between your soul and your life. May the mansion of your soul never become a haunted place. May you know the eternal longing which lives at the heart of all time. May there be kindness in your gaze when you look within. May you never place walls between the light and yourself. May your inner angel free you from the prisons of guilt, fear, disappointment, angst, and despair. May you, my brothers and sisters, allow the wild beauty of the invisible world to gather you, mind you, and embrace you. And Kathy, I invite you to pray with us.
When the disciples came to Jesus and asked him, Lord, teach us how to pray, he responded in Avun debash maya, net kodesh shmoch, tete melkuta, nefwe sibiana ikana, debash maya af ba'ar, havlan lakman desun kanonya omana, wash baklan, haubain, wash tahain, ikana daf kanan, shwakanal ha yabain. Wela, Talan, Lenasuna, Ela, Patsan, Manbisha, Mitul, Dalache, Makuta, Wa Haila, Wa Tesh Bukta, La Alam, Amin, Amen.
Thank you so much, Kathy. There's one person I want to thank that you don't see besides my beloved Penny over there and my dogs. Across the street is a neighbor. We call her Mrs. Kravitz because she knows everything that goes on, but she takes good care of us all. She's truly a neighbor and a friend. And she often asks, what am I doing with my life? And she's been watching me heal from surgery and after the pelvic break and all. And I told her that I was getting ready to worship with my East Coast community, which of course boggles her mind. And I didn't even go into what Zoom was. But I did share the delight of being able to worship with my community. And she wanted me to come downstairs with her. So I went downstairs. Now she's a very tiny, thin little lady. And she came down and she said, I have a muumuu for you to wear. And so I looked at it and I thought, there is no way. But anyway, the muumuu is from our neighbor. And you don't see the back of it for an obvious reason. But I do want to acknowledge Darla and her joy of being able to participate with all of you. Karen, I can't thank you enough. And Stephanie, for your guidance, for your inspiration, for allowing me to preside, ordaining me. That has meant the world to me. And to each of you, I love you. I thank you. I haven't done too much to hurt you yet, but I know there'll be a time. So please forgive me and know that I'm sorry.